This is a 1939 Ford Coupe, and it is really a reproduction of the coupe that Fireball Roberts used in the racing circuit. And here's a little history about Fireball Roberts. He's a local Central Florida boy who grew up racing. Lots of victories, as you can see. But as you see, he died early. He was in a fire on the racetrack and recovering, developed pneumonia. I think for somebody recovering from burns, that's a usual problem. And back in the day, probably they didn't have the same ability to treat it as they do now. Just guessing, but it brings home the reality that racing is not a game, especially back in this day when the safety features, you can see there's a roll bar in here and you can see the seat, but boy, imagine being in this vehicle zooming around the racetrack. These things were pretty dangerous. But it was part of racing. Here are some pictures of the actual car. You can see how similar this car is to it. (1939) Ford Coupe. Of course, the Smokies they're talking about there is the Smokey Eunuch, who had a garage in Daytona. Great to see one of these tribute cars.